to the Smoke Room, episode 15. This is going to be into the same show, so I'm just going to continue on. Welcome the owner of James Blazer, CJ slash A-Ho, sure, 12. Welcome. How you doing?
Hey, Smokey, it's great to be here, man.
All right. I'm going to start off the questioning with what inspired you to start call, and what have you learned so far since you've been here?
Oh, that's a really good question because, when I first started in, call, I didn't get started in call until, Brent introduced me into it. It's a long story, but how I originally got into call is, well, pretty much I decided, to make a character that, would be good for me to, play as in the game. And, well, it didn't start off like, being in a call league. It just more started off being something that I would usually do. Like, I used to do a league called MTW, and it was on my own spare time. And I used to have videos up, but not up anymore because, they suck. But pretty much I used to do that, and, that's where James Blazer came from. And ever since then, I've been using him. Well, when I wanted to get, James Blazer in the league, the one league that I saw that really stood out was RSW because I thought, well, hey, maybe RSW would be pretty decent to be in. So pretty much I tried to contact Brent, and I got nothing back. And I was pretty disappointed because I didn't think I'd be able to make it in call after all. Well, I didn't know about the Call Wiki until he introduced it to me personally, but at the time I had no idea what Call Wiki was. But pretty much one night I was playing on, the RSW online servers, and I was going to play a random match, and pretty much, I needed a tag team partner. So, believe it or not, it was Brent Harbander himself, and he was playing as CM Punk, and I think I was playing as Attitude Era. I was playing as Badass Undertaker, and pretty much we being this one guy, and pretty much I told him, "Oh my God, man, I know you. You're Brent Harbander from YouTube. You do RSW. I've been trying to contact you this whole time." And he said, "Well, holy shit, really?" It's like, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I don't usually check my inbox." And pretty much we had a talk about having my character be in RSW, and he said, "All right, let's have some matches." And I had some matches with him, and I pretty much ended up beating some of his guys in there. And he said, "All right, you're in." And so pretty much he introduced me to the Call Wiki, and I thought, oh, well, that's really great, man. I could put all the information down of my character, and people maybe might be interested in it. And he was like, well, yeah, that'd be great. So pretty much I put all the information that I had about the character on a wiki. And I thought, I didn't know what to do at first, but I looked at, pages from Danny Jackpot to Evan O'Shea and Brent Harvinator. I looked at those pages, and I took example to them because I made sure I had all the information that I needed in order to do that. So that's what I did. And pretty much that led to, it led to the point where, I was only in RSW and I didn't really do much. And that was, the only league at the time that I was signed to. But then I started getting, contracts from ASW and then eventually WCW and just, a lot of leagues eventually. Because I wasn't noticed until Evan O'Shea contacted me on Skype, and he said, well, hey, I think your call's really cool, and I think, you should be in some call leagues. And eventually that led to me, being invited into this thing called, I forgot the name of it, but it's like a call Skype chat that I'm usually in. I talk to people like, Carter, TC, Garrett, and all these other guys. And I started being good friends with them, and that's pretty much how I got started in call and got, established. I haven't really done much yet, but I hope to eventually,
Yeah, it all comes in due time. It's just all on how you approach things and react to certain things, I guess. And certain people now, I can admit that certain people choose their own route. They try to get popularity. That's the reason their popularity falls before they can actually get it up, because they got this huge ass ego. You know what I mean? So you gotta look past your ego and look into what your character is all about. That's what people know that I don't like to say stuff about myself, but with me and my call Smokey, I just like, I like a good storyline. It don't matter about no titles, no nothing. If I get a title, then good, you know what I mean? But as long as somebody uses my call right and don't talk shit behind my back, they could do whatever the fuck they want as long as it's interesting. You know what I mean? Win, loss, tie, it don't matter. As long as they don't use my character the way it's supposed to be used, I would expect you would feel the same way about Blazer if they was used a certain way. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, it really depends on how you use my character. Like, I don't want my character to be a jobber or anything. I want to start off like, probably mid card and build my way up there. I mean, if people want to give me some titles, that's cool and all. But one of my biggest pet peeves about, people using my character is they have to have him do something. They can't just have him win a match and not do anything after that. That's stupid. I want him to actually, do something. I don't want him to sit around on the roster looking like dust, because really, I think he has a lot of potential in my character. I think he could really do something and have some good matches. It's just the problem is I worry that people aren't going to use him that much, and my character to do something, but at the same time, I don't want to say anything to those people because I think that it might, ruin, the character's credibility, and people might think I'm being, a little bit, annoying about the fact that, my character isn't doing anything, and really it's not that. It's just like, I'm really worried about what direction he'll go into, and I want to make sure he's actually doing something.
Yeah, you just want to keep him occupied. You don't want to be in the league if you ain't going to be active. You want to be active, and you want to promote yourself. That's the most important thing about, promotion and call. This might be a fake video game, but it's just something we do for fun, and we want to see our call succeed. Even while he's suspect, he wants to see him succeed, even though he ain't been treated with the respect he deserves after all these years. What do you expect in the next year with James Blazer?
Well, I expect, I don't expect him to be in the main event. No, that's going to be a while. But, I expect, for him to be winning some titles and, having some interesting feuds. And I think that I'll be looking forward to that because I hope, I don't like to book my call. That's a fact. I don't like to book my call at all. I want to see what people can do with my character because I'm in booking groups and people might want me to book my call, but really all I do is give them promos and give him suggestions, but that's about it. I don't book my call at all. I don't book how he goes, how he wins, what he does, what else he does. It's just like, it's just like throwing ideas out there for feuds. I'll just say a name and say, all right, well, how about we have, for example, Antonio Cesaro, go against James Blazer. I think that'd be an interesting feud and see if they might do that. I won't tell them how it should go, but I'll tell them that, I think it would be pretty interesting to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty interesting when it comes to that promotion and stuff because I've been around for a few years and you have to deal with so much damn shit, especially with call politics coming on and people talking shit, for no reason at all about your call. It's going to happen eventually. If you start getting known in any shape or form, there's always some kind of drama that follows afterwards. It don't matter who you are. If you get a little bit of notice, you're going to be put on blast for no reason at all. And I wish you the best of luck because I know your call, and you are getting up there, and you are one of the next coming up future stars. But there's still what new guys don't understand. I said this many times in the past, is they cannot come in expecting to win every single match. Hell, I don't even win every single match in any league I'm in. So how can anybody else expect to win every single match? You know what I mean? And I'm well known, and I don't take none of that seriously. I'm friends with everybody. As long as you can come to me and be a man about it. If you got an issue with me, you can talk about it, you know what I mean? And while I'm talking about that, I want to swing the question to the next question is, what do you think personally, and I want to say personally, about the whole Something Call and the whole Josh and I got to say I am a little bit part of it because I do have a problem with Frank, as I said in the last interview. But that's between me and him. Me and him's going to talk about me and him's going to duke it out probably about that whenever I talk to him. But what is your opinions on that situation?
I think that it could have been handled a lot differently. I don't think that both parties should argue about it. I think they should have just sat down and talked like men. You know, you don't need to drag names in there to stir up the situation, because really it should be between one person and another person and solving it out, and just figuring out how to resolve the problem. Because really, if you keep building up the fire in the problem, then really it's not going to get anywhere, and pretty much it's just going to get out of hand. You want to make sure that you have the problem resolved and everything is going as according as planned, and just doing that. I don't want to see Ocean Jacks gone from WEDF just because Frank and him couldn't settle the deal. I don't want to see something like that. And I definitely don't want to see names dragged in Evan and Burb, Homer, whatever whoever they want to get involved in there. They shouldn't be involved in there in the first place, because it's between two people. And I know that I saw the video with Loudon in there, and I know you're in there too. With Josh, but I really think it just should have been Josh and Frank talking. I don't think you should have been in there, or Lounge Sal should have been in there. I think it just should have been between him and Frank. I don't think that they should have more people included in there. I just think it's just between them. That's all I really think. That's all I want, and that's all I want to see. I don't want to see anyone being fired, or all this other shit happening.
Yeah, the only reason I got into it was because of mine and Frank's past. And if anybody knows the history of me and Frank, knows that this has happened before. This ain't a new thing. Everybody may think it's a new thing with Burb and Danny and Homer and all them other people, but it's a repetitive motion every single year. As I said on that video, it's a repetitive motion. I ain't got no problem with nobody. My name shouldn't have got brought into it in the first place. All I do, I took my break from call, and I come back, and all of a sudden jumps me and talk. And I don't respect that, and I don't like that. And it's my job to protect myself when somebody talks about me. And I going from the last interview when Evan said, it's immature to talk like that, but in a way, it really isn't. I wasn't going to interrupt him. I just let him do his interview, you know what I mean? So, but he should just suspect that. It don't matter about immature or mature. If you get attacked, you're going to attack back. Real life or internet, it don't matter. It's just how you are, you know what I mean? So, if you feel a certain way, you ain't going to be quiet about it. You're going to speak out about it. That's just the way I always been. And I've been quite good over the past few years, but I wanted to say so much damn shit, but I didn't. That it's basically drove me over the edge the way I want to be the old me again, and just start blasting a lot of people. But I got more respect than that now. I know I'm older now, so I actually understand, that Burb, Frank Dog, and them, Burb is cool. I ain't got no problem with Burb. Burb is at least honest with me whenever she talks to me. There might be a lot of problems, Burb. Me and Burb had a lot of problems, but I feel it will get worked out, but it won't be peaceful. It's gonna take a while with Josh and Loudon and all the other people. I ain't got no problem with nobody. Me and Loudon are the best friends in the world, and me and Josh live an hour away from each other, and we've been friends for a long time too. So I don't have no problem with nobody but Frank right now until me and him talk. That's just my opinion. But I'm sorry. This is your interview, and I know I just blurted out all that stuff. But okay.
No, it's all right, man. It's all right. I mean, I know you have a lot of things to say.
Yeah, I got too much stuff. I could talk for hours about it. I know too much about what everybody else goes through. Wally even knows what happens over the last few years. But I'm going to go back to you. What are your favorite wrestling federations and why?
One of my favorite, well, it depends on what you're asking. Are you talking about call in general, or are you talking about real-life wrestling?
I'm going to go with real-life wrestling first.
Well, it really depends on, what's going on right now. I'm not a fan of WWE right now, considering what they're doing, with storylines and angle-wise. What I really, The only wrestling that I sometimes enjoy is TNA, even though, a lot of people might disagree with me and say, well, TNA sucks. Well, I think TNA will gradually get better, and I hope it will, because I know it's going on the right path, and I'm sure that people, agree that, it's got a long way to go, and it still has Hogan, has Bischoff, but, even with those guys there, they're showing off, a lot less, and they're trying to, build more guys. I don't like how they're doing the whole aces and eights because I don't really, care for that angle. I just think they need to start revealing themselves because it's been I don't know how long, 8 or 9 months they've been doing this, and it's not really getting any interesting. And they're losing viewers because no one really cares. I don't care about it. Why should anyone else care about it?
Some people have different opinions. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? And regardless of but you never actually said, you said TNA. Is that your favorite league or federation?
That's the thing, though. I really don't have a favorite. I mean, I enjoy watching wrestling in general, but right now it's just, it's at a low point with me because I really don't find anything that interesting besides, some of the stuff that goes on in TNA, maybe WWE, but, those are the two main ones, that I sometimes watch. One of the ones that I really want to watch is Ring of Honor because, I think Ring of Honor can be really interesting. It's just the atmosphere and, how it's booked and how it looks on TV. It just looks atrocious, and I really don't like it that much.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I appreciate your feedback on that. Moving on. Next question is, what feds in call do you like, and what interests you the most about them?
That's another tough one because there's a lot of leagues out there and there's a lot to watch. It's just I like watching more of the active leagues, but what I do like to enjoy watching is probably TCW Asterisk. I mean, I really think that that's pretty interesting, and there's a lot of original calls in there. And it's not like a bunch of people signed to it and it's like a big clusterfuck. It actually has people there that are pretty interesting, and it's entertaining to watch. Another one that I like would be Battle Pro. I mean, I think Battle Pro is pretty interesting. I mean, it can be interesting. I know people won't like Battle Pro because of the roster and because it has all of Loudon's guys in there. But really, Loudon, I'm pretty sure he tries to work hard on his roster, but at the same time, it comes out not looking that good. But with a little, with a few improvements, like Evan said, like signing more people that are known and stuff, and signing less people that Loudon makes, I think it would be a pretty good league. And I think a lot of people would stop bitching about it if that was done.
Yeah. I think personally that people need to lay off the owner of the league because they got so much going on and they trying to do so much. I ain't talking about just one league. I'm talking about a lot of them. That they got a lot of pressure on them to continue putting episodes out, and this don't help. You know what I mean? And I know some of my stuff I say affects some of the people I talk about, or but this show isn't about me or anything else. It's just about getting truth out. Talking to people, getting to know everybody, letting everybody get to know the people I'm talking about. Let's see. And that's gonna move on. What are your favorite? I talked to you about what inspired you earlier, but what top call owners or calls in general have you looked up to, or what inspired you to actually be in call?
What inspired me? Well, I wouldn't really say any talent that I know that really inspired me. I really think that, I watched a lot of it and I thought it was pretty interesting. And I thought, hey, maybe I could do that. I wasn't necessarily inspired by, someone like Danny Jackpot or Kalen Rogers or Mid-Icorn, anyone like that. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was inspired by anyone. I just thought well, I think I can do it. And you know what? I've been able to do it so far. It's been a pretty interesting run. I've met a lot of great people. And I really enjoy being in an atmosphere besides, being alone, because I hate being alone. I want to be with people that I can relate to. And I've met a lot of people that I can relate to. I can relate to you, Smokey. I can relate to Carter. I can relate to, Josh. I can relate to Evan, Loudon, Brent, all those people. Those are people that, I can relate to because I get along with them so well. It's like, man, how come I haven't met them before? And, I've met them now, and I think they're really great people. And I'm glad to have met them as well.
Okay. Only that same question that you didn't answer. Who are your top 5 college superstars? I'm talking about all together. And who do you think is the all the up and comers that has a chance to succeed? With you included, but with every other newcomer, who has the best chance to succeed?
Like, are we talking about, like, the people that are, like, already established, or the people that are just about being
I'm talking
established?
about the top 5 that's already established, and who do you think has the best chance to succeed that is a newcomer, like Evan? He's not really a newcomer, but he basically is just now starting to get up there in call, basically. And what do you feel... or you know what I mean, what I'm trying to talk about. But you go ahead and talk and explain.
So we're gonna be talking about, like, the top 5 people that are, like, already, kind of like close to main eventing, that are in, like, that are in a lot of leagues. Well, it's a tough one because I would have to think about the list, but from what I could tell you, at number 5, I would probably have to say Ocean Jacks, because I know he gets a lot of shit, and I know that people don't like his run in WEDF and think that, well, he's overrated, but, I think he could be a really good main eventer if, he's given the right time, and, like, if he's given the right storyline and he looks good in it, then people would enjoy that. And then number 4, I'd probably think, I would think Matt Acorn, because, he's done a lot, and the creator... I'm sure he means well, but I'm sure maybe sometimes people get, like, some vibes from him and they don't like what he says, but I think he's a good guy. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can be a good guy. Maybe he has some issues or something, I don't know, but I think he generally be a good guy. And, I think for number 3, I would think, I think Kalen Rogers, because, Kalen Rogers, even though, like, he retired from call, like, I think it was about a year ago or something that he retired, or was it this year? I think that, he'll be doing some more work, and I think, like, right now in new WWE, he's doing some stuff, even though, like, he retired, like, who knows how long ago, and he's starting getting back up there. And, I think I'll see some more from him in the future. Who else do I, see having a future that's already main eventing? Who I see right now that would be, like, main eventing, I would think, like, I'm surprised, but I think I'll see more of Brent Harvinator eventually, and he'll be at number 2, because I think that Brent Harvinator, he's a really good guy, man. He's a good friend. He's giving me a lot of advice in call, and he's actually, established me into call and got me into RSW, his league, and, I've gone into, like, all sorts of leagues since then. And I like to thank him for that, because, he's been a really good friend to me. And at number 1, well, obviously at number 1 we have to say Evan O'Shea, because I know that we had an interview earlier and he said that he'll only get, like, 1 title reign, and I agree with him. But it could be possible he could get a second one, but that'd be about it. But I think he's done so much that he deserves it, and I'm surprised no league has given him a world title reign yet. I mean, seriously, you look at this guy and you think, whoa, this guy is, like, radiating with freaking charisma, man. I mean, how come he's not having a world title? Well, I think I'll have it eventually, but in what league, I don't know yet. I mean, you have to look around the leagues, and you have to wonder, well, what league will actually give Evan the title? Well, that's something that's very debatable, but I think whatever league decides to have him as world champion, well, I'll congratulate them, because Evan is a really hard worker, and he's worked so hard to get where he is right now. It's just like, he's nearly there, man. He's getting there. And he already is there, so why aren't you giving him the title? he's doing a lot for these leagues, and they're just like, wasting it away. And I'm sure, he wants to be a mid-carder, and he doesn't want to be overrated. But I think eventually he should just get a world title reign, maybe one or two, and there you go. It'll be done for. And there won't be anything left for him to do. He'll probably retire because, as he said before, his last game might be WWE 14 if that ever gets made. That's going to be the last thing he does. And I really hope that after he's done with that, he's left an impression on Call, and people will remember him, as as a great person in Call, and realize. And I hope some colleagues realize that, chasing him away and giving him all these shitty storylines, you have to give him you have to give him 5-star matches, because Evan, he can do a lot. It's just people waste his potential. He has a lot of potential, man. You just got to, know how to use it. You know how to use calls. You have to make sure people know how to use your call. They have to make sure that Smokey is doing what he's supposed to be doing and not, jobbing or whatever shit. Kind of like how LaMarcus Carter has to be doing something, or else, I know Carter will get pissed and be like, I'm not going to be in that league anymore, and I'll understand by that because, if he's not really doing anything and, he's not, being, just doing anything in general, he's going to have him removed from there. And it's all about, how people use your character. I think
it's all about, it's more, I'm sorry about interrupting you there, but it's all about respect of a call owner and a call handler. If y'all all got to have mutual respect. If there ain't no respect involved, then the call should just leave. You know what I mean? So there's no reason for a caller to be in a league if they're not happy there. If like for example, if I got a problem with how Smokey is used, I will usually say something about it. That's me taking care of my business. Around here, it might be as Evan to say, fake, but it's a hobby. We all do this for fun, and we all want to take. When we make a guy and we put him out there and we promote him, we ain't going to say, oh, this is fake, so we ain't going to take it seriously. We get into our character, and many other people can say it. We get into our characters. It's just the way it is, like the whole acid, macaroni head thing. That's all character. But for the most part, I ain't going to lie. Everything I say is what I usually say in real life. So I ain't gonna front about that. Basically, James Blazer, what made you make him in general? What made you say, oh, okay, James Blazer? Because what is your idea behind that?
You mean the idea behind the name, right?
Yeah. Your call, basically. Yeah.
Well, what made me put together the James Blazer character? Well, when I came up with the name, I decided, well, I want something that people will remember. I want something that people, seeing, I want people, to have a name that could be a mid-car and then eventually be a main eventer. And I think, well, how about, I take something from my middle name because, James is my middle name, by the way. And I took that from there, and pretty much I thought, what could his last name be? I tried thinking about it, and I wondered, what would be, aspiring? What could, be in your face, and people will be like, well, oh my God, look at this guy, it's James, whatever. Well, I thought, well, yeah, it has to be something that's on fire, something that, comes right at you. And I thought, well, how about Blazer? James Blazer. It came together like, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and once I said James Blazer, there you go. It was James Blazer. Now, the character itself, really originally was, his character is it has to do with cards. It's hard to explain because really there is there's stuff on his attire that, has to do with Las Vegas and stuff. And really, originally, I didn't want James Blazer to be from Orlando, Florida. I wanted him to be from Las Vegas, Nevada, because that's what his gimmick was going to be. He was going to be the king of cards. He knew how to play cards. He knew how to play real well. And if he played his cards right, he could win that match and pretty much win the title or whatever. that's what his gimmick was going to be. But I toned it down a bit because I realized how, like, it wouldn't sound that good, and pretty much I toned it down to, like, being from where I'm actually from, which is Orlando, Florida. So pretty much I toned down that gimmick a bit because I thought, like, it wouldn't be main event material. And, like, when I did that, well, the character looks great, man, and people want to use him. And I try to make sure that the character looks good each year because I want people to say, well, damn, his attire is great, and make sure he has a good theme song, make sure he has a good moveset so people can, appreciate the character. And so far, there has been some appreciation, but I think a lot of that appreciation has yet to be achieved. I mean, I don't know any people that, like, that actually, like, like James Blazer as much as the people in the Skep chat do, because I want to expand. I want to, like, expand upon that. I want people to give me chances. I want people to see that, I'm not some guy that, thinks that he can be world heavyweight champion or anything like that in, like, a day just because he started in call. I want people, like, to give me a chance and say, well, I think you're a really good guy and I want you in my league. And I think a lot of people, like, it's something Cawful chat. I don't know if they really, like, like me or not, but I hope they do. I hope they give me a chance because I can be a really nice guy and I'm really adult about things, and I think I could really, like, do a lot if they gave me a chance.
You know
like,
what?
I think I could put down.
My first advice to you is just be yourself. Just be yourself and nobody else, because being a fake ass bitch ain't gonna lead to nowhere. And I speak
That's what I've been
everybody.
doing.
Yeah, exactly. And you ain't got no problem. As long as you continue being yourself, you won't have no problem. You will, but at least you had the courage to be yourself instead of being somebody else.
Yeah, I thought that if I let myself, be myself and not be just some fake character, then the character would be something that comes to life. And that's what I've been doing with the character itself. I'm trying to make sure the character looks like an actual real wrestler. As you can see from the games, he looks like an actual wrestler from like, WWE or something like that. And that's exactly the impression I want people to have. To think, well, man, this guy is like, and I think, he'd be a decent champion or a decent whatever. And that's what I've been doing with him since. Making sure, like, he's lifelike and people take him seriously and people appreciate him.
All right. But closing out, is there anything else you want to add? Like, do you have any plans for any colleague or anything like that?
Oh, plans of colleague. Well, there's a lot of colleagues that I want to be a part of, but the problem is I don't know if I, like, I don't know if people, like, there's people in this something Cawful chat, like, Burb. I don't know if she likes me or not. I like her. I respect her. It's just I don't think that she thinks of me, like, any better. She thinks that I'm some moron that wants to be in new WWE, but really that's not the case. I don't want to be in new WWE just to have, like, a big title resume. That's not what I want. I want to be in an active league that, challenges me and actually has some stuff for me to do, because I believe that I could have the character do a lot of stuff, like, matches and feuds, and I think those would go great together. Just the thing is, though, I don't think Burb realizes that I'm not the kind of person who's selfish or egotistical. I think I could really do something for her. And, I hope she's, like, watching this video right now and she realizes, well, I think that I could really do something for her, and I highly respect her, and I think she's a great person. I just wish, like, she didn't think of me that way, and I hope that, she still isn't thinking that I'm mad at her just because I wasn't signed to new WWE, because I did a video before and she said that I was highly likely to, like, to be in new WWE when she saw all this other stuff that I did with the leagues, and I waited, and she really didn't really say anything to me. All she did was, like, she just, like, went on with her own business, and she never went back to me since. And if she's saying that, I thought, like, I would have, like, a deal worked out with her, but that never happened. Because I'm not bitter about it, but I really wish, like, she could have just told me that if she didn't, like, want me, she should have just said it to me instead of, like, leaving me hanging dry. That's what I think.
But I think that's it. I appreciate you coming on my show. Stay
Yeah,
tuned.
I liked it, Smokey.
I'm glad you came on the show. We finally got it done. I know we've been trying to do it for like a couple weeks. It's kind of hard with our schedule. It's a bit.
Exactly.
But coming up is Cornelius Carter, also known as C. Carter, also known as LaMarcus Carter, also known as Bitch Ass. But I appreciate you coming on the show. Hope
Thanks,
everybody
man.
stays tuned. You can say something to head us out.
All right, guys. If you want to learn more about James Blazer, you can obviously go to like the page itself. I mean, there's a lot of information there, a lot of stuff that I don't like that James Blazer had to go through. Pain in the ass. You can find me on Twitter at realjamesblazer.com, and there's some there's some like kayfabe tweets that have to do with call itself in general, and I have a YouTube channel. It's 812 Forever at youtube.com/user or whatever, You go there and you'll find them right there. And pretty much that's all I have to say. And if you're interested in using my call, well, you can come to me. Just don't use them without permission. I get pissed when people use my stuff without permission.
Exactly. But I appreciate you coming on the show, and everybody stay tuned. Coming up next, as I said, C. Carter's coming on. So see you in a second. Peace.
All right, later, folks.